Okay, for follow-up.
I just put together some talking points. I had given the 2 articles to Chris that he had forwarded to all of you to read. So I didn't know if there were any comments on there, but I also wanted to share some other information. I had asked the principals to get me the data. I was curious about the number of students from the current school, the year that just ended, the kindergarten students who attended a 4K or preschool, and then how many did not. And so I put those percentages on there because I was just curious how many were getting some type of schooling before coming to kindergarten, and then what that percent meant that were not. Things that I also see as a need to take a look at. If you've heard about the Common Core state standards coming, there was just an article in the school news. I don't know if you guys saw that one, but it was a nice article on the Common Core. I didn't get a chance to copy it. But it talks about the Common Core state standards and what that means, how they're different, how we'll assess them. It just means we're increasing the rigor for reading and writing and math in those areas for our students coming into kindergarten. Also, this coming school year will be our last year for WKCE testing, and then we'll have a test that aligns to the Common Core, so that's also going to increase in rigor for that. And I brought some examples of what some of the Common Core state standards are. I didn't make a lot of copies of them, but just kind of talking about in math. For kindergarten, it talks about that students will understand the relationship between numbers and quantities, connect counting to cardinality, which understands each successive number name and refers to a quantity that is larger than 1. If we have our students coming in who don't even know any of the numbers, and then we're expecting that at the end of the school year, just concerns regarding that, being able to make that jump. In reading, we have just talking about phonological awareness, students understanding spoken words, syllables, and sounds, talking about just not being able to know letters and sounds anymore, but the rhyming words, blends and segments, being able to do some isolation of those, knowing the initial, medial, vowel, and final sounds, just breaking words apart, more intense than what we have had in the past regarding reading, and the same for writing, of wanting them writing and knowing verbs and more things than we've ever expected before. So just concerns in providing them the support to make that mark. And just some research about teacher effectiveness I threw on here, that if our students are coming in, typical gain is 34 percentile points. If our students are coming in not knowing that academic knowledge, they're likely going to be below the 50th percentile when coming in, and so how far will they be able to grow without having very high quality instruction and not having a beginning to start with. And then Paul, you had talked at the last meeting of wanting to make sure that it wasn't babysitting in 4K. I brought an example of the Wisconsin Model Early Learning Standards that talks about what they would use for 4K and how you design the program. It talks about different things regarding reading and math and standards, and I can pass this to share that with you. But just understanding that there's a solid curriculum for teachers to use to base off of. And so they're to look at this first. When I talked to Jill Hagelin at DPI, she talked about using this first as 4K teachers, and then also looking at the Common Core kindergarten standards to make sure that they're leading to that, so that when they get to kindergarten they have those gains. So between the articles and some of this information, I didn't know if there was other things that you wanted to discuss regarding that, but if you want to take a look at the standards.
I'll look at it right now.
Sure.